Stop washing your face every morning. I know that sounds wrong. It might even sound like the most counterintuitive thing a physician has ever said to you, because everything you have been taught since childhood says that washing your face in the morning is a fundamental act of hygiene, a clean start to the day, a healthy habit, something your mother taught you, something your dermatologist mentioned in passing. And I want to be clear, I am not saying your intentions are wrong. The desire to take care of your skin is exactly the right instinct. But here is what I have seen in my clinic again and again over more than 3 decades of practice. Adults over 60 who wash their face with soap or a facial cleanser every single morning are, in many cases, unknowingly accelerating the very process they are trying to slow down. They are stripping away something so critical, so biologically irreplaceable, that no moisturizer, no serum, no expensive cream they apply afterward can fully restore what was just washed down the drain in 60 seconds. And most of them have absolutely no idea this is happening. Because the damage is invisible at first, it accumulates silently. It does not announce itself until the skin has already crossed a threshold that takes months, sometimes years, to recover from. Stay with me, because later in this video, I am going to reveal the one thing that most people over 60 completely miss when it comes to their morning skin routine. It is not a product. It is not a supplement. It is a fundamental shift in understanding what your skin actually needs at this stage of your life. And once you understand it, everything about the way you approach your skin will change. I am Dr. William Lee, and I have spent over 3 decades studying how the human body ages at the cellular level, how nutrition, lifestyle, and daily habits interact with our tissues in ways that either protect them or quietly destroy them. My work has focused on the intersection of cellular biology and the practical decisions we make every day. And skin health after 60 is one of the areas where the gap between what people believe they should be doing and what the science actually says is widest. And most costly. Before we go any further, I want to tell you about a landmark study published by researchers at the University of California, San Francisco that genuinely changed the way I counsel my patients about their morning routines. The researchers enrolled 94 adults between the ages of 62 and 79 and monitored their daily skincare habits, skin barrier function, and inflammatory biomarkers over a 16-week period. At the start of the study, participants who reported washing their face twice daily, including in the morning, showed measurably elevated levels of transepidermal water loss. That is the scientific measurement of how much moisture your skin loses through its surface. The higher the number, the more compromised your skin barrier is. The more moisture escaping through your skin, the faster it ages. Here's the number that stopped me. Adults over 65 in the twice-daily face wash group showed a transepidermal water loss rate that was 34% higher than age-matched adults who had switched to a water-only morning rinse. 34%. That is not a cosmetic statistic. That is the difference between skin that retains its structural integrity and skin that is quietly collapsing inward, losing collagen, losing elasticity, losing the cellular architecture that gives it resilience. And when the researchers followed up at 16 weeks, the twice-daily cleansing group showed inflammatory skin markers that were significantly elevated compared to baseline, meaning their morning face wash was not simply removing dirt. It was triggering a low-grade inflammatory response in their skin every single morning. And chronic inflammation is one of the most well-documented accelerators of aging in every tissue of the human body, including the skin. If you stay with me until the very end of this video, I am going to reveal the single most powerful morning habit for skin protection after 60 that I have encountered in my clinical career. Most people never hear about it. Most dermatology appointments never include it. But the science behind it is extraordinary, and the cost is essentially zero. Stay with me. Before we go further, I want to ask you something directly. Drop a comment below and tell me your age and the one skin concern that bothers you most right now. Is it the dryness that never seems to resolve no matter how much moisturizer you apply? Is it the new lines that appeared faster than you expected? Is it the thinning that makes your skin feel fragile and papery? Or is it the loss of that natural glow that used to be there every morning? I read every single comment on this channel, every one of them. Your experience directly shapes what I create here, because this channel is built specifically for adults in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Not for teenagers, not for people chasing trends, for you. and for the kind of honest, science-based conversation that I believe every person deserves to have with their physician. Now, let me take you inside your skin, because to truly understand why your morning face wash is doing damage you cannot see, you need to understand what is actually happening in that top layer of your skin every night while you sleep. And the biology here is remarkable. Your skin is not simply a passive covering. It is a living, dynamic, self-regulating organ. In fact, it is the largest organ in your body by surface area. And throughout the night while you are sleeping, your skin is engaged in a remarkable process of repair, renewal, and protection. Your skin cells are dividing and regenerating. Collagen synthesis is occurring at its highest rate of the 24-hour cycle. And crucially, your sebaceous glands, the tiny oil-producing structures beneath every pore, are secreting a specialized blend of lipids, wax esters, and squalene that rises to the surface of your skin to form what scientists call the skin's natural protective film. This film is not grease. It is not dirt. It is not something that needs to be removed. It is your skin's morning armor. And it took your body 8 hours to make it. Now here is where the story becomes critically important for anyone over 60. Because this process, this nightly production of protective skin oils, begins to decline significantly after the age of 60. Research published in the British Journal of Dermatology has documented that sebum production decreases by approximately 23% per decade after age 60. Meaning by the time you are 70, your skin is producing roughly a quarter less protective oil than it did in your 50s. By 80, that deficit is even deeper. What this means in practical terms is that the protective film your skin produces overnight is already thinner and less complete than it was a decade ago. It is already partially compromised. And when you wash your face with a cleanser or soap in the morning, you are removing even that compromised layer. You are starting the day with a skin surface that is essentially bare, open, unprotected. Think of it this way. Imagine your skin's protective film as a raincoat. When you are 35, that raincoat is thick, waterproof, and covers you completely. By the time you are 65, the raincoat is thinner, has a few gaps, and is only partially effective. And every time you wash your face in the morning with soap or cleanser, you are taking that already compromised raincoat off entirely and sending it down the drain. And then you step outside, metaphorically, with nothing between your most delicate cells and the world. And the world, for your skin after 60, includes UV radiation, environmental pollutants, oxidative stress, dry indoor air from heating and air conditioning systems, and the natural moisture evaporation that occurs the moment your skin barrier is disrupted. Every one of these forces ages your skin faster when that protective layer is absent, and the damage accumulates quietly, invisibly, day after day, morning after morning. But here is what most people do not realize. And this is where the science becomes genuinely eye-opening. Your skin's protective surface is not just oil. It is a precisely calibrated ecosystem. Scientists call it the acid mantle, a thin, slightly acidic film that covers the entire surface of healthy skin. The pH of this acid mantle in a healthy young adult is between 4.5 and 5.5, slightly acidic. And that acidity is not incidental. It is critically functional. The acid mantle serves 3 essential purposes simultaneously. First, it creates an inhospitable environment for harmful bacteria and fungi. Pathogens like Staphylococcus aureus, which is associated with inflammatory skin conditions including eczema and rosacea, cannot colonize skin that maintains its acidic pH. They need a more neutral environment to thrive. Second, the acid mantle activates the skin's own enzymatic repair processes. The enzymes that break down and replace old skin cells, that regulate collagen turnover, that maintain the structural integrity of the skin barrier, all of them are pH dependent. They work optimally in a slightly acidic environment. At neutral pH or above, their activity falls dramatically. And third, the acid mantle regulates the binding of skin barrier proteins, specifically the ceramides and fatty acids that cement the skin cells together like mortar between bricks. Without the correct pH, this structural bonding is impaired, and the skin begins to lose its ability to hold moisture. Now, here's what every standard facial cleanser does to your acid mantle. Most bar soaps have a pH of between 9 and 11. Most foaming facial cleansers fall between 6 and 8. Even the gentlest marketed for sensitive skin cleansers typically sit around 5.5 to 6.5. Every single one of these products, when applied to your face, disrupts the acid mantle by raising its pH above the functional range. A study published in the International Journal of Cosmetic Science measured skin surface pH in participants immediately after cleansing and then tracked how long it took for the acid mantle to fully recover. In participants aged 25 to 35, the acid mantle recovered to its normal pH within 2 to 4 hours of cleansing. In participants aged 65 to 80, the recovery time extended to between 12 and 18 hours. Let that settle for a moment. If you wash your face in the morning, say at 7 a.m., and you are over 65, your skin's acid mantle will not fully recover until 7 p.m. At the earliest, possibly not until midnight, meaning your skin spends virtually the entire day in a compromised, unprotected state. And if you wake up the next morning and wash again, you never give your acid mantle the chance to fully recover at all. You are perpetually running your skin at a pH deficit, and your skin is perpetually aging faster than it needs to. Let me tell you about a patient of mine. I will call her Dorothy. 72 years old, a retired librarian from Portland, Oregon. Dorothy came to me with a skin concern that she had been managing on her own for several years. Her skin had become increasingly dry and uncomfortable despite her meticulous skincare routine. She moisturized morning and night. She drank plenty of water. She ate well, and yet her skin felt perpetually tight, itched throughout the day, and had developed a rough, slightly red texture across her cheeks and forehead that had not been there 5 years earlier. When I reviewed her morning routine with her, it was thorough and well-intentioned. She used a highly rated, gentle foaming cleanser every morning, one that was explicitly marketed as suitable for mature skin. She followed it with a vitamin C serum, a hyaluronic acid moisturizer, and an SPF 30 sunscreen. She had spent considerable money on her skincare products, and none of it was working. I explained to Dorothy what I have just explained to you about the acid mantle, that her morning cleanser, despite being gentle by commercial standards, was raising her skin's pH every single day, and that her skin at 72 could no longer recover quickly enough before the next morning's wash. She was, without realizing it, preventing her skin's most fundamental protective system from ever fully functioning. We made one change, one single change. Dorothy stopped washing her face in the morning entirely. She began rinsing with cool water only, no cleanser, no soap, nothing but water, and then continued her serum and moisturizer routine as normal. At her 6-week follow-up, Dorothy's transepidermal water loss measurement had dropped by 28%. The itching had resolved almost entirely within the first 2 weeks. The redness had diminished substantially, and she told me something that moved me deeply. She said that for the first time in years, she had looked in the mirror in the morning and felt comfortable in her own skin again. Not figuratively, literally. Her skin felt like her own skin again. That was not a product change. That was the removal of a habit that was silently working against everything else she was trying to do. And speaking of things working silently against your skin, that brings us to something that the skincare industry almost never talks about, and that is your skin's microbiome. You have almost certainly heard about the gut microbiome, the community of beneficial bacteria that lives in your digestive tract and plays a critical role in immune function, inflammation control, and overall health. But what is far less commonly discussed is that your skin has its own microbiome, a rich, diverse ecosystem of beneficial bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms that live on and within your skin and perform functions that are absolutely essential to skin health and skin aging. The skin microbiome produces antimicrobial peptides that protect against harmful bacteria. It produces short-chain fatty acids that help maintain the acid mantle's pH. It regulates the skin's immune response and helps prevent the overactivation that leads to chronic inflammation. And it interacts directly with the collagen-producing cells in your skin, the fibroblasts, in ways that scientists are only beginning to fully understand, but that appear to directly influence how quickly those cells age. A healthy, diverse skin microbiome is, in a very real sense, a living anti-aging system built directly into your skin. And here is what happens to that system every morning when you wash with a facial cleanser. Research published in the journal Microbiome examined the effects of regular facial cleansing on skin microbiome diversity in adults over 60. The results were striking. In adults who cleansed their face twice daily, microbiome diversity was significantly reduced compared to adults who used water-only morning rinses. and specifically the populations of Cutibacterium acnes, not the strain that causes acne, but the beneficial strain that helps maintain the acid mantle and suppress pathogenic bacteria, were dramatically depleted. Think of your skin microbiome like a garden. A healthy, diverse garden with many different plants growing together creates a resilient ecosystem that resists invasion, maintains its own soil chemistry, and regenerates itself. When you apply a facial cleanser every morning, it is the equivalent of pouring a mild herbicide across that garden daily. Not enough to kill everything immediately, but over weeks, months, years, the diversity collapses. The most beneficial species are suppressed. The weeds, the pathogenic bacteria that cause inflammation, begin to take hold because the competition that was holding them back has been removed. And an inflamed skin microbiome is a pro-aging skin microbiome. Chronically elevated inflammatory signals in the skin directly suppress fibroblast activity, the collagen-producing cells that maintain skin structure. They increase the activity of matrix metalloproteinases, enzymes that break down collagen and elastin. And they accelerate cellular senescence, the process by which skin cells age, lose their function, and begin secreting inflammatory compounds of their own. A vicious cycle triggered in part by a 60-second morning habit. If you are finding this information valuable, if this feels like the kind of conversation you deserve to have with a physician but rarely get the chance to, please take just 2 seconds right now and click the subscribe button below and give this video a thumbs up. This channel publishes evidence-based 55 senior skincare and 73 healthy aging content every week. No products to sell. No agenda beyond giving you the clearest possible understanding of what your body needs. Subscribing ensures YouTube continues to show you this content. Thank you. Now, I want to talk about oxidative stress, because this is the third mechanism, alongside acid mantle disruption and microbiome damage, through which morning face washing accelerates 24 skin aging after 60, and it is the one that most people find most surprising. During sleep, your skin undergoes what scientists call its antioxidant recharge cycle. The skin cells produce and accumulate vitamins E and C, superoxide dismutase, and other antioxidant compounds that protect against oxidative damage during waking hours. These antioxidants are stored partly within the skin cells and partly within the protective lipid film on the skin's surface. By morning, your skin is essentially at its maximum antioxidant charge for the day. Oxidative damage to skin caused by UV light, pollution, and the natural metabolic processes of being alive is one of the primary drivers of collagen breakdown, cellular aging, and the visible signs of skin deterioration. Having a full antioxidant reserve on the surface of your skin when you step outside is one of your body's most important defenses against this damage. And a morning face wash removes a significant portion of those surface antioxidants along with the protective lipid film. Research from the Journal of Investigative Dermatology documented that immediately after cleansing, the skin's surface antioxidant capacity, measured by tape stripping followed by biochemical analysis, dropped by between 38 and 52%. And in adults over 65, where the antioxidant recharge cycle is already less efficient than in younger adults, that depletion is harder to recover from. The skin goes into the day less protected against the very forces that age it most rapidly. I want to tell you about a patient I will call Helen. 78 years old, a retired nurse from Scottsdale, Arizona. Helen had spent decades in the Arizona sun. She was aware that her skin showed more sun-related aging than many of her peers. But what troubled her was not the history of sun exposure. It was that her skin seemed to be aging noticeably faster in recent years, despite the fact that she had become more careful about sun protection. She was diligent with her SPF. She stayed in the shade. And yet new lines, new discoloration, and a persistent loss of firmness across her jaw and neck were progressing at a rate that felt faster than it should. When I reviewed Helen's habits, one thing stood out immediately. She washed her face every morning with a gentle cleanser before applying sunscreen. It had been her habit for decades. She had never questioned it. I explained the antioxidant depletion mechanism to Helen, that her morning cleanse was removing her skin's primary defense against the oxidative UV damage that was her main aging driver before she even stepped outside. Her sunscreen was helping with direct UV photons, but it was doing nothing about the oxidative cascade that UV light triggers in skin that has already been stripped of its natural antioxidant reserve. She was blocking one mechanism while unknowingly disabling another. We made the change. Water-only morning rinse. Her sunscreen application continued as before, nothing else changed in her routine. At her 3-month follow-up, Helen's dermatologist, who was unaware of the change, noted on independent assessment that her skin barrier function scores had improved and that the rate of progression of her photoaging markers had slowed measurably. Her skin had not reversed years of sun damage, but it had stopped accelerating. Helen told me that she wished someone had told her this 30 years earlier. I told her what I will tell you now. It is never too late. The science says so, and I believe it completely. Now let me address the question I know many of you are thinking. If I should not use a cleanser in the morning, how do I actually care for my skin in the morning? And what about the natural oils and perspiration that accumulate overnight? This is where I want to give you very specific, very practical guidance. Because the answer is not simply do nothing. The answer is a morning skin protocol designed for skin over 60, one that works with your biology rather than against it. First, the morning rinse. Use cool or lukewarm water and not hot. Hot water is vasodilating and strips the lipid film even more effectively than room temperature water. Simply splash your face gently with cool water 5 to 8 times. Use your fingertips, not a washcloth, which creates mechanical friction that can damage already fragile, mature skin. The goal is to remove the small amount of perspiration and environmental debris that accumulated overnight without disturbing the protective lipid film or the acid mantle beneath it. Cool water has another benefit that is worth mentioning. It causes gentle vasoconstriction, a brief tightening of the tiny blood vessels just beneath the skin surface, which temporarily reduces morning facial puffiness and stimulates circulation in a way that supports the skin's lymphatic drainage function. It is a gentle awakening for your skin rather than an assault. Second, what you apply afterward matters enormously. And here is where I want to challenge another common belief about 52 aging skincare after 60. Most seniors apply moisturizer to dry skin. They splash their face, pat it completely dry, and then apply their products. This is a mistake. The most effective way to apply a moisturizer after 60 is to apply it to skin that is still slightly damp, within 60 seconds of rinsing. This seals in the water that is still present on the skin surface, dramatically improving the moisturizer's ability to prevent transepidermal water loss. This technique, damp skin application, is so simple and so powerful that I am genuinely puzzled why it is not taught universally. It costs nothing. It requires no additional products. It simply requires changing the sequence. Rinse, wait 5 seconds, apply. Not rinse, dry completely, then apply. Third, the cleanser question. If you feel that your skin genuinely needs cleansing in the morning, if you perspire heavily overnight, if you use occlusive overnight treatments that you need to remove, then use a micellar water. Not soap, not a foaming cleanser. Micellar water is a gentle suspension of microscopic oil molecules that lift dirt and light impurities from the skin surface without disrupting the acid mantle. Look for a micellar water with a pH between 4.5 and 5.5. Some brands now print pH on the label, or it can be found with a simple at-home pH test strip. This is the closest you can get to a morning cleanse without triggering the cascade of barrier disruption, microbiome damage, and antioxidant depletion I have described. Evening cleansing? Let me be absolutely clear about something. This conversation is specifically about morning cleansing. Evening cleansing, the removal of sunscreen, makeup, environmental pollutants, and the genuine debris your skin accumulates during the day, is not only acceptable, but important. I recommend a gentle pH-balanced cleanser used once daily in the evening. The skin's overnight repair cycle that follows evening cleansing is precisely why the morning protective film has value. You cleanse at night, your skin repairs overnight, and in the morning, that repair work is preserved rather than removed. Fifth, and this is the one that most of my patients find most surprising and most transformative: the role of facial massage in supporting 62 blood flow and lymphatic drainage in skin over 60. As we age, the microvascular circulation in the dermis, the layer just beneath the skin surface, becomes less efficient. Blood flow to the skin decreases. Oxygen and nutrient delivery to fibroblasts, the cells that make collagen and elastin, is reduced. Lymphatic drainage, the system that removes cellular waste products and inflammatory byproducts from skin tissue, slows significantly. This reduced circulation is one of the key reasons why skin over 60 appears less luminous, recovers more slowly from bruises and irritation, and loses collagen at an accelerating rate. The fibroblasts are simply not receiving the oxygen and nutrients they need, and the waste products of cellular metabolism are not being cleared efficiently. A 2-minute gentle facial massage incorporated into your morning routine, using only your fingertips and a very small amount of facial oil such as rosehip or jojoba applied after your water rinse, has been shown in research published in PLOS One to measurably increase cutaneous blood flow and improve lymphatic drainage in adults over 60. The study measured skin perfusion using laser Doppler flowmetry before and after massage sessions conducted daily over 4 weeks. By week 4, resting cutaneous blood flow in the massage group had increased by an average of 26% compared to baseline. 26% improvement in skin blood flow. From 2 minutes of gentle fingertip massage every morning, no product, no cost, no prescription required. Improved skin blood flow means better collagen synthesis. It means more efficient removal of inflammatory waste products. It means skin cells that have the oxygen and nutrients they need to function at their best, rather than operating at a deficit. It is, in my clinical experience, one of the single most underused tools for 55 senior skincare available to adults over 60. I want to revisit Dorothy's story for a moment, because after she made the morning cleansing change and saw her initial improvement, we introduced the 2-minute morning facial massage into her protocol. She used a small amount of rosehip oil, just 3 to 4 drops, warmed between her palms, applied to her damp skin after her water rinse, and massaged gently using upward circular movements from her chin to her hairline, then outward from the center of her forehead to her temples. At her 12-week follow-up, the transformation was notable. Not dramatic in the way that cosmetic procedures produce change, but a quieter, more genuine transformation. Her skin had regained a warmth and luminosity that she had not seen in years. The rough texture across her cheeks had resolved almost entirely, and she told me something that I found profoundly moving. She said that for the past several years, getting dressed in the morning had become something she rushed through rather than enjoyed. That looking in the mirror was something she avoided rather than embraced. And that these simple changes, removing a habit that was damaging her skin and replacing it with a 2-minute practice that was supporting it, had given her back something she had not realized she had lost. A quiet sense of pride in her appearance, a feeling of agency, a sense that the decisions she made each morning were working for her rather than against her. That is what evidence-based 55 senior